In this video, you're going to see how East Asia constitutes a region based on its climate, vegetation, language, trade networks, political units, river systems, and religions. Start with the climate. Very temperate climate in much of China, and actually interesting, China's climate mirrors much of what we would think of in terms of the United States, similar latitudes for actually all these regions. So we'd find a humid continental climate, humid subtropical. There are some tropical areas here in Macau, part of Taiwan, and we do get into subarctic climates as we get into Mongolia and part of China here. You can also see this desert climate and some of the more steppe or dry climates also found in western China. In terms of vegetation, we do find forests, particularly if we think of the peninsula, the Korean peninsula, and similar forests that we've seen in terms of Europe and Russia when we've compared those. The same with some of the tundra areas where it's very cold because of higher elevations, and some of the subarctic areas related to Mongolia, and deserts also. There are several deserts, the Gobi Desert in China, for example, and many semi-desert and semi-arid areas in terms of vegetation. The major languages in the area start off with Chinese. Chinese, in terms of the language, has the most speakers of any language, of people who are speaking their first language, and so very large language. Obviously Japan, Korean. Interesting, we separate North and South Korea, but that's more of a political division than it is culturally, because both of the Koreas speak Korean, and so then we would also see Mongolian and other languages in this area, and those type of languages. The trade networks, the map that you see here is actually showing container ports. And so these are major areas of where containers, where goods are shipped all over the world, are found. And if you look at China and this region, there are a large number of these container ports, the major container ports in the world. And that connects to the fact that China is a major player in world manufacturing. And as the China economy grows, we even find in China many American companies, our car companies, make cars there to try to make for the population of China. We also have in South Korea, you could think of Samsung as a Korean company, Hyundai. There are a lot of Korean companies that are part of this global economy. And we could even see Japan when we're talking about this global economy. So East Asia is very interconnected into the global economy. Political units, we have Mongolia, China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. Some of the major river systems, we have the Yellow River in northern China, the Yangtze or the Changjing in central China. Those are the major rivers that we would see in the region. Religion, China is a communist nation, so religion is not, there's not an official religion, and religion is often not that as important part of society. But as Buddhism spread from India into the Himalayas, we do see a large number of Buddhists, and Buddhism spread through China into the Korean peninsula and even into Japan. And because of the connection with Central Asia, the western parts of China also have large numbers of Muslims. So when we think of East Asia, start with the climate, that the climate of East Asia mirrors much of what we would expect in the United States. Just thinking of that with the East Coast to the West Coast, arid, more humid, continental in this area, and even the south, some tropical climates. Vegetation following that. The major languages, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. This is an area that is very interconnected globally. China, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. Not Mongolia and North Korea. Those countries are not actually connected to that global economy. Countries, Mongolia, China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. major river system. We saw the Yellow, the Yangtze River through here, and religion is primarily Buddhism, as it moved from India into China and into the Korean Peninsula and Japan.